Good morning. This is my trailer for hauling a front engine dragster. And the trailer weighs 4950. Dragster weighs 1440 pounds. It's a 10,000 pound trailer. That means that it can carry another 5,000 pounds. Total weight of 10,000 pounds. This is about the third jack that I've had on the front of this trailer. And this one's good for 4,000 pounds. We have checked the weight on this tongue. The weight on the tongue is 2,000 pounds. It seems like a lot, but I haul it behind a motorhome, and the motorhome has a 16,000 pound hitch on it, so it's fine. It tows great. On the pickup truck, it's a little heavy, but I have the equalizer bars, so it does fine there also. This jack, I don't know, if you listen to it, it really struggles. You know, down is okay, but going up, it really struggles. So, time for a new jack. So let's go look at it. So here's the new jack. And I'm having terrible time with shipping, but that's just a metal bracket, so I think I'm okay. We'll open it up and see what we got. This is not light. What's the best way to get this thing out? Oh, the cover doesn't look good. So take a look at that. Look at that. Huh. This side looks too long. And this side is definitely too short. It doesn't even go into the side. That looks okay. You know what it looks like? It looks like this is a piece of plastic that was bent. And it looks like it was bent in the wrong spot. That side measures 6 1/4. This side measures 5 1/2. I'm gonna have to get a new cover. You can see it. I don't know if you can see it. All right, I need to read some directions. Let's go put it on. Okay. Hello. So far, this has been pretty disappointing. What they've done, first of all, this is 600 bucks. And what they've done is they've taken a cylinder that they use on motorhomes and adapted it to be used for trailers. And they've got it so that all these holes are exposed to the air. That's one thing. And the next thing is the cover that goes over the back of here doesn't fit. One side is too long, the other side is too short. I put the case on so you can see how well this fits from the factory. Notice the gap right there. This side is too long, so I can trim this side up so that'll come in. But the problem is this side is too short. You can see how it just barely catches. The screw is in, but all I got to do is go like that and it comes out. So I called the parts department and the response was, well, it's either all in the same molds or probably all the same way. And they were reluctant to send me another one. So I called back and I talked to the owner, and he said he was going to go out and look in the factory and see if he could find something that was better. The third thing is they tell you use number 4 gauge, attach one end of the cable to the bottom solenoid, route the cable to the breaker, install the 80 amp breaker. Well, they didn't send an 80 amp breaker. I just went to 3 part stores. Nobody has an 80 amp breaker. The fourth thing is they show this. And if this doesn't come out, what I'll do is I'll put a picture in. But they show this white plastic collar with a retaining ring around the bottom. This plastic collar and this retaining ring, well, it just slides on and falls off. Doesn't do anything. So I called up. They do have a 24-hour technical support. And what you're supposed to do with this is before you put the jack in, you're supposed to slide it into the hole and then put this in and then put the retaining ring in so it stabilizes the bottom of the jack. The directions doesn't say anything like that. So now we're going to have to take it back apart again and let's see if we can get it in there. I don't know if it'll go in there. Can I get it up in there? I don't think I can. Even if I take this apart, it won't go up in there. It'll go like that if I can get it up in there, but then I won't be able to get the ring on it. Huh. Well, let's try. This is ridiculous. You know, it's so discouraging. It must be me. I must expect too much. So there's no way to get that in there. I might be able to put it in there and get that ring on there somehow. Alright, what this is going to do is hold this thing up into this hole. While I try. Now what this is a pair of pliers that's meant to spread this ring apart. Unfortunately, it's got to be done down inside here. And it doesn't quite spread it far enough apart to go over the the plastic. So to get this thing apart, what I'm going to do, or try, is you put this thing on here like this. And normally you squeeze it like that. If I squeeze it beyond, it'll open it up. And then if I put vice grips on that, maybe I can get that on there. So let's try it. All right. All right, so is it on there? Okay. Okay, it's actually on there and it's retained. Let me show you. So what you're doing is looking down into the hole at the at this thing that sits in there, and it's just a sturdying point for that piston, I guess. And I don't know if you can see the retaining clip on there or not, but that's what we did. So the ground for that jack is through the chassis and through the bolts here. So what we need to do is clean this off so that we get a good ground. Actually, we need to clean the top of that off because the threads will provide a ground, and then we got a ground to the top of that thing. So let's put that thing back in. Like that. And what I'm going to do is grind the paint or the powder coat off here so that we get a good ground. So I'll be back. So the ground is through the chassis and the frame. So I want a good ground, so I'm going to take some of this off. Okay, and I'll come back and I'll paint that. And now this trailer has a winch in it, and when I wired that, I ran the ground directly from the battery to the winch. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to now run a wire from the winch to the frame so that I don't complicate the battery box any more than it already is. Okay, so now we're bolted back up. Now the next thing is let's put the foot on. Of course, I got to find the hardware. I'll be right back. So what you do is you're supposed to take this nut, which is a nylock nut, and screw it on the bottom of this with this up in between. However, when this was shipped, they didn't protect the threads, and now they're buggered up. I can't get it on at all. Won't go. So, and this is a 3/4 16. And that goes in there nice. So this is a 3/4 16. And we'll just chase that thread to get rid of that bugger. It's so buggered up I can't get it on. What I don't want to do is cross thread it. I may just go get a file and fix that thread. There we go. It wasn't bad. I can do it by hand. And now it goes on. So we'll put a little anti-seize. Now anti-seize is not grease. There we go. You know what? I'm gonna go get the socket for this. I may have to go get an impact because the cylinder is turning. See, this is a hydraulic piston, and the piston just turns inside there. There's nothing that stops it from turning. Let's take this back down. All right. Yeah, see, the threads only go so far. So this thing is going to be allowed to move. All right. That's it. All right, now we get the wire. Let me put some of this stuff away and we'll continue on. So now we're doing the ground. Ouch! A little heat shrink. Ground cable. Okay. Oh, nice. Cut myself. All right, let's put battery back in here. So that goes like that. Now we got to do the ground connection underneath. So the ground connection is going to get bolted to the frame, and then the cable is going to continue inside for the winch, and the bolt to the frame will give the ground to this. Finally got the positive feed for the hydraulic pump to the battery. I don't have the circuit breaker. They want an 80 amp circuit breaker between this and the battery and that, and it didn't come in the $600 part. So I've ordered one through Amazon and it'll be here in a couple of days. So I'm going to leave a bunch of wire here, and I'm just going to connect this now with the relay for the winch that's in the trailer, and these are 50 amps a piece, so there's 200 amps there, so it's way more than what I want, but for now it'll work. And then when the circuit breaker comes, I'll have extra wire right here, and I think I'm going to put it right here. I'll just mount it right there and then go from there. So let's hook this up right now. Now you wouldn't think that'd shrink down, but you know what? It does. Can't mistake that for a positive cable or for a negative cable. This terminal cleaner is different from most in that rather than have a brush, it's actually got a cutter inside, and it's cut so it's got the right taper, and it marks positive and negative so you don't get too small. Just put it on there and turn it around. And what it does is skims it off, got a nice clean surface. And you do the same thing here. And now the surfaces are all clean. So this is what took so long, making that neat. This top goes over the top like that and cleans up the whole area. Okay. So after 2 days of solid work, most of it just rewiring, because this thing requires much heavier gauge wire than what the other jack did. And running around trying to find parts, I'm ready to try testing this. And the first thing they want you to do, and it's interesting, the first thing they tell you to do is it takes 2 quarts ATF Dextron 3 in this unit, and I can't find Dextron 3 anywhere. So after calling them, they said just ATF, just ordinary ATF is fine. So we're going to add, but then in the instructions it says, at this point, fill the fluid ATF to the pump. Red fill cap. Well, that's a green fill cap, but we'll go ahead and use that anyway. Red fill cap, make sure you fill the tank so that the fluid is 3/4 of an inch below the top. Then you must press the extend button and fully extend the jack until it reaches full extension. Let it stay this way 30 minutes. This bleeds the air from the lines. Once this is done, lower your jacks, and I guess what they mean is really raise the jacks, and enjoy your new Bigfoot leveling system. So let's put some ATF in this thing. So that's 1 quart. Can't really see through that thing. Can't really see it either. I'll put about half of this in and then we'll check again. Let me go get a flashlight so I can look down inside that thing. Well, I guess you can see it from this side. It's right there. We're about an inch down. I'll put a little more in. Well, that's 2 quarts. It is on a hill, but it's right there. So it's going to take more than 2 quarts. Let's see if it goes down. That's up. So the switch is backwards. I'm going to have to turn the switch around. But it says leave it like that for 30 minutes. So while we're waiting, I'll turn the switch around so down is down and up is up. Okay, it's getting dark, half hour's gone by, but let's see if this thing can do what it's supposed to do, which is pick up the tongue of this trailer. Now this is an 8,000 pound capacity jack. The weight on the tongue is 2,000 pounds. So let's do that. I'd say it picks it up pretty nice. I can live with that. It does the job. It's too bad about all the other stuff. Time to go in for the night. So I lied. I am going to show it to you. They did send a new cover. No decal. The old cover fits poorly. And they only have 2 screws holding it in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the new cover on. I'm going to drill 2 additional holes. So we got 4 holes. This cover is too long. I'll trim this thing down to fit. And what I'm going to do with the old cover is I'm going to put it on here like this. So it looks like we want to take a 1/4 inch off both sides. This. So that's better. This plastic is not really great. It's a little too wide this way. So that's good enough. So now we're gonna make this piece. What I was gonna do is I'm gonna put this on here like this. And I was gonna trim these to come there, but you know what? I think I'm just gonna leave it overlap. That's 3 5/8. 3 5/8, 3 5/8. We cut up the boxes, we squared up the one they sent us. This hole here, the screw that goes in there has to be short because of how close the tank is, and the same thing here. And this goes like this. And now we cover the front here. The holes won't be exposed. What would it have cost them to do this? So that's the end of the cover project. I really want to make a top here. I have to find some of this black plastic and I'll make a top. And I'll have to see about getting this label off. I can't. Oh, maybe I can get it. There we go. Oh, shoot! Oh!